Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about how to communicate with your team because honestly, this is a thing I struggled with when I first started playing, and it's a thing I think most people struggle with trying to get, say, into Diamond or higher because they just don't have good communication skills, to be honest, and there's so many people I've played with who have horrible communication skills. So, to start off, only tell your team relevant information because if you're yelling out useless stuff, giving them the play-by-play of what you're doing, they're going to stop listening to you. And I've had this issue before where I just don't listen to some people because they just keep talking, or people don't listen to me because I talk too much. Tell them relevant things. And what are relevant things? Well, let them know when an enemy hero uses a significant cooldown. If Zarya uses her E bubble on someone else, I believe that's which one that is, doesn't matter. If she uses both her bubbles, that's significant because she's not going to gain any more damage and she has nothing to protect herself. If Reinhardt's shield goes down, let people know that sort of thing. If Ana uses her grenade, then she's not going to be able to prevent healing or heal it a ton herself. And call out flankers, that's another thing. And this is something usually people do a pretty good job about, but you gotta call out flankers whenever they come around the back. Don't just sit there and try taking yourself and all of a sudden you die and your team doesn't know why. Just make sure you always let your team know when enemy players are coming. I mean, the biggest thing here is not overstating what's happening, because that's just a big problem. Typically my issue is I just don't speak at all, or I'll speak because I'm used to playing with friends in a separate chat, so I'll call things out and forget, four other people on the team can't hear what I'm saying. So make sure if it's important for the whole team to hear it, the whole team does hear it. But if it's not, if it's just you talking about your health, like every single time you take damage or cooldowns you've used or what you're doing, your team's usually pretty aware. Only tell them what they need to hear. If somebody's low or somebody is misplaced where they can be taken out. The most important thing is keep irrelevant information out. You also need to make sure you listen. This is a huge issue, is teammates not listening. You tell them to group up, you tell them about flankers coming, when you're timing ults and you know that Pharah is coming in an ult and your team doesn't listen and they all group up and they all get smashed and murdered in that situation, it sucks, and it's from people not listening. So part of communication is listening. So if you don't listen, you're not gonna win all your matches. And communication is such a huge part in winning matches, I've found. Teams that are cooperative and nice to each other do so much better. Which brings me to do not be aggressive. If they don't listen, you've got to work with what you've got. Just focus on playing over arguing. I know it sucks when somebody uses a Torbjorn and you don't think you need him, but the fact is, that's who he either feels he's strong with right now, or he's trying to screw with the team, which sucks, but you gotta work with it. So if he wants to play Torb and slap it on the payload, help him get it on the payload, because in the end, he might come in clutch with an ult, save the team, and I've seen it happen before. I've seen attack Torbjorns carry games because we said, hey, if you won't listen, work with it. This is not to say that you should just give in to what everyone wants, but work with what you've got. Next is do not play the blame game. You will not get a very happy teammate if you blame him for a loss. Everyone there knows whose fault it is most of the time. It does not need to be announced, and I've seen people, once they get called out for playing bad for some reason, their quality of playing just gets so much worse. They just feel like shit, they're not confident, they do bad, and it sucks, and they start communicating less. Playing the blame game is just aggressive and mean, and you get tilted, they get tilted. You do not want that. If something's being done wrong, you need to tell them before it costs the game, not after. I've had countless times, even where I do something wrong, but my teammate will decide not to tell me till after we've lost. And that's what we call Captain Hindsight. Captain Hindsight knows how to fix all problems after they've already ruined everything. You know, they could have saved a life had they known an issue, like had they known a life needed saving, but they didn't until afterwards. And any one of us could have called out the same issue Captain Hindsight is calling out. He's just trying to seem superior. So either figure out what's wrong during the game and fix it, or keep your mouth shut. And this is not to say you shouldn't give advice to people to improve their game, because you should, but don't sit there and say, oh, it's your fault because you didn't do this and you caused us the game. Well, you didn't know either, you know? If neither of us knew, we're both to blame. And yeah, so don't whine. Whining about problems is a big issue because people just sit there and whining, especially if you don't have a solution. It's one thing to say, hey, we need a hit scan for that Pharah, but if you are not willing to switch to a hit scan and you're playing an attacker, or say it's just a hero you don't even know how to counter, and you just say, we need to counter him, but you won't tell how to do it, or you want to change the game plan, like we need to do something different, but you won't provide a new game plan, you gotta stop complaining about it, because you're just sound whoring and you're just filling up the mic with noise. You should always be pointing out issues and providing solutions, and if you don't know where the solution is, ask for a solution, but you just can't whine. You just can't sit there and whine. It's not gonna help. Positivity is very important. Not getting angry is very important. That's why people say stop playing after a couple losses, because you start getting so angry. The thing that helps me keep from getting too angry while playing, and so I communicate better with teammates, is just not to talk unless like something needs to be said, especially if I'm angry. If I'm angry and I'm talking, I'm going to talk more and get myself angrier. So just say relevant information, like communicate a lot, communicate relatively. That's it. Just act like teammates, act like you've been playing with these guys for a while, and you know, you just have to expect they're going to have your back and that they're going to listen. You gotta listen back. Don't be a dick. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.